about why we believe what we believe. To understand more in depth that it isn't just us coming to Mass on a Sunday. We talk about leading in the image of Christ. We're talking about humility. Wow, we're going to bring along a lot more than It's a very awkward moment.
And we are a family here at the Fest. I mentioned the vendors, I mentioned the food, I mentioned all the volunteers. And I would like you one more time to give a huge round of applause to everybody who has put this day on. I know you're not to cheer well for but I want to hang out.
And you guys do a lot. You're very relational with your audience. One of the things that
it's okay to fall apart, so that others might see your brokenness and see the goodness of God in that.
Live life on the journey with you. Do we think that is enough for God? That I was, or it was nothing more than focusing on ourselves during times of plenty. You know, to say, who do you say that I am? To answer that. Beautiful Cleveland day. What are we going to do? Let's shoot some film. Hi, I'm Greg Wasinski, and I'm blessed to be a missionary.
When people ask what my dad does, I always say, do you actually want to know, or are you just asking to be polite? Because if you want to know, it's going to take a little bit. I'm like, well, he works in the church. Oh, so he's a priest. No, he's not a priest. And they're like, oh, okay, so he's like a pastor. I'm like, no, he's not like a pastor. He's just a guy who talks to people. And they're like, I don't get it. And I'm like, no, he's good at talking to people. I usually go with, he's a speaker and author, and that people usually get the picture from that. They're like, oh, okay, we get what he does.
Was born and raised Catholic and had this family that really appreciated faith and loved faith and was obedient to faith, but I didn't understand anything about why we believed what we believed, and just showed up for Mass like everybody else and did what I was supposed to do. As time went on and I became successful in business, I really struggled with comparing myself with everyone else. And all I did was work to feed my ego and my pride. I really lost sight of what was important. I began to put labels on myself for success by material items. I would learn later on that it wasn't about who I wanted to be, but it was about who really God needed me to be. God was doing something marvelous in my life, but I still was really struggling. Here I thought all the things that I was doing, all the things that I was, all the labels that I had given myself based on monetary things was now gone. I was suffering from severe depression. I didn't think that I was lovable at that moment in my life. And there was a preacher on a Sunday morning network, and he was telling me about God in a way that I'd never heard before, that God loved me no matter who I was. And I didn't hear that in the Catholic Church. We didn't talk about things that way. I thought I was just supposed to go to Mass. And here I was finding out that I was about so much more. It's interesting because I'm a Catholic Christian, and I don't define myself as Catholic. I define myself as a believer in Jesus Christ first. And I want to share the love of God that I have with everyone. So for us in ministry, I think that it makes complete sense that God has called us to be His messengers, to do maybe what the church can't in a way that it needs to, so that we can lead people back to the physical building where they find the community that they need.
I think it's the relationships. I'm always amazed at, no matter what anybody says to him, no matter what they come up and say something about, my children have been away from the church, and he doesn't try to just solve your problem right there.
He genuinely cares about getting to know a person rather than just getting to the final product of something.
He's extremely passionate about his faith and how other people can grow in their faith and how he can help journey with them in that growth.
Greg is Greg. everywhere he goes.
Chick seasoning for the times that you want chicken and just said regular's not enough.
Doesn't take himself so seriously. Like, we literally do laugh a lot.
He doesn't try to change who he is when he's in one realm versus, you know, at home.
You know, sometimes a lot of speakers they'll have things very pre-planned. They say the same thing to different audiences and stuff, but with him, it was like he was meeting a different person and having a different conversation, you know? He treated every audience so individually.
When you listen to Greg's story, it's not all about how God has, driven him to success. It's about how God saved him out of a place and really brought him to his faith through trials and tribulations. And it's just something that many of us can relate to.
Because it's real life. It's messy at times. It's not just about religion. It's about life overall and trying to become the best version of yourself that you can be.
I think Greg has such an amazing way of bringing faith and real life together. It's not just about being there on Sunday, it's about how you live your life every day.
The Lord looks to a little boy. People will say to me, why do you do ministry work? And I always say to them, if you saw what I saw and you heard what I've heard and you felt what I feel, you would never ask me why I do what I do. Because for me, all the answers are in the reactions that I get from the people that we get to minister to.
It's amazing when I've seen people talk to Greg and send emails and letters and cards saying, oh my gosh, thank you, you saved my marriage. Oh my gosh, thank you, I feel so much more positive. You pulled me out of a depression.
I don't have it all together. I'm a mess. I'm somebody who needs help from others every day. I can tell you that ministry helps fulfill me in a way by serving people that makes me feel uplifted even when I'm in my own struggles. But at the same time, seeing my kids playing a game, watching TV, sharing a comedian with my son and enjoying his wit, or a sushi dinner with my daughter, that's as much about faith as going to church. I just try to be that faith in real life guy, a man of God, a child of God, who's giving himself completely to everybody around him. And if I leave it all on the field and I gave it all that day, I can go to bed and say, even if I didn't do it right, I did it. And I'll fix tomorrow what I need to tomorrow. But for today, at least I played the game.
And so for you and I, if we figure out how we can carry this cross and the weight that it puts on our shoulders, then we begin to see God in action. We know that we don't have to do it alone.